Okay, let's go to the audio soundbites. Got some really fascinating stuff here. We're 1 week away from the Iowa caucuses today, and it's all over the park now. You've got people weighing in on how the polls don't mean anything, particularly in Iowa. They don't mean anything for a host of reasons. You've got people beating up on Jeb Bush. I got a story. Steve Hayes here from the Weekly Standard, really laying into Mike Murphy, who runs the Bush PAC, called Raising the Roof or whatever, Right to Rise, that's what it is. And the headline, How Jeb Cleared the Way for Trump. Now, as you will hear, I'm being blamed for Trump. Oh, yes. Does that surprise you? Oh, I am being blamed for Trump now. But I asked Trump to run. I've been advising Trump. Yeah, right. Of course. No, they're not saying that. They're not. You'll hear what they're saying. It's coming up in the audio. But I just want to point out here. By the way, don't let anybody. I did not ask Trump to run. I don't advise Trump. People could hear that, take it out of context, might appear somewhere on some watchdog website. I did. Snerdley said that stuff to me, and I was repeating it, echoing it. It's a joke. In the old days, everybody would have known something like that was a joke. Already there are people in their pajamas getting out of bed, running to their computer keyboards. Oh, my God, Limbaugh just said he's the one that told Trump to run. Oh, my God, I got a scoop. And they're typing it up there to tweet it out, to Facebook it out. So I just want you to, it's all made up. We just had a little fun here. Stephen Hayes, a Weekly Standard, How Jeb Cleared the Way for Trump. The bottom line is, you know why there's Donald Trump? It's very, very simple. It has nothing to do with me. The Republican Party, whatever you want to call the Republican establishment, the ruling class, I don't care what you want to call it, they are responsible for Donald Trump. They are responsible. I'll go through the reasons again here in due course if you'll hang in there and be tough. Let's go to the audio soundbites or get started on this before the first break of the hour. I'm not going to air audio soundbite number one. We're going to go to number two. Number one is simply Howard Kurtz talking to Trump on Fox News Channel on Sunday morning. And Howard Kurtz tells Trump, yeah, when Rush Limbaugh tells you to back off, you back off. And when he doesn't, you don't. I mean, it sounds like it's really... And then Trump says, no. Rush has not said any of that. Rush has been terrific. He made a point. But then he said, you got to do what you got to do. Everything's cool there, Howard. Don't sweat it. So just to get that on record, now we go to the same show, Media Buzz. Howard Kurtz speaking with the Republican strategist Mercedes Schlapp about National Review magazine and their anti-Trump issue. Howard Kurtz says, you saw Trump hitting back against National Review, but it's influential in the media, National Review is. Now, that is a key claim. Howard Kurtz says to his guest here, National Review is influential in the media. Is this National Review campaign against Trump as a menace to the conservative movement, is that a problem? Is the National Review issue a problem for Trump?
I don't think so necessarily. You have to understand the Trump supporter. The Trump supporter is not a subscriber to the National Review. They are getting their cues from Rush Limbaugh. There is a disconnect between these conservative thinkers, many of them who live in New York and Washington, D.C., and the rest of America.
They're not getting cues from me. They're getting cues from Trump. Why is it you have a candidate, particularly Trump? Why is it that when we're talking about Republicans, well, I know the answer to the question. I'm asking it rhetorically. Why is it that we're talking about Republican candidates, even Trump, when you start talking immediately, and even this woman's a Republican strategist, it can't be that people are making up their own minds. It can't be. No. They're taking their cues from somewhere. You people, the Republican voter, the Republicans apparently on the strategist and consultant side even believe this, that you don't have minds of your own, that what you do is the result of whoever has the most influence over you. It might be Dr. Krauthammer. It might be National Review. It might be George Will. It might be talk radio. But it doesn't matter. You are incapable of making up your own mind. And so when she, and I'm not, This is not an attack on Mercedes Schlepp. I don't even know Mercedes Schlepp. Words mean things. I listen to what people say. I'm a literalist. As you know me, I'm the mayor of Realville. She may not intend this meaning, but I'm telling you that's how I interpret it. No. Trump supporters are not subscribers to National Review. They're getting their cues from Rush Limbaugh. They're getting their cues from Trump. Trump is who they're supporting. In fact, it's really, I think it is a mistake for these people to assume that Trump supporters are not Trump supporters for specific reasons related to Trump. I don't know what they're telling themselves. Then she goes on to say here that there's a disconnect between these conservative thinkers, many who live in New York and Washington, the rest of America. That case can be made for that for anybody that works in Washington, New York, Boston, the East Coast corridor. Now we move to the Kelly file. Megyn Kelly, this is on Friday night on Fox, and she is interviewing Rich Lowry. Is there one or two bites? Let me go to the next page. See if this sets up. Now, the one bite, here it is. This is the exchange they have.
Rush Limbaugh came out and said, this is misplaced because you overestimate the degree of conservatism in the Republican Party.
He could be right. If he is right, it's profoundly depressing. And our mission is to hold up this banner and put this flag in the ground for principled conservatism, whether it's popular or not. And in fact, sometimes the less people want to hear something, the more important it is for us to say it.
I wonder how many people might be confused or not understanding what I mean when I say that the Republican Party is overestimating its base. And I didn't say overestimating the degree, well, yeah, overestimating the degree of conservatism, but overestimating is a key word. You have to understand how the establishment defines conservatism before anybody says anything. And this is true of Republicans in some cases. It's true of Democrats from top to bottom. It's true of liberals top to bottom. It's true of some Republicans, but not all. And that is the conservative base. Why do you think Jeb wants to win without it? They do not have a positive attitude of the conservative base or the Tea Party. They think of them largely devoted to pro-life. That's their main fear and rub, is they think they're all pro-life social issues, first, second, and third people. And then they want low taxes and smaller government and spending. They're overestimating, they're misdefining what it is that defines the conservatism of the base. Has been my point. And as such, they are ignoring it at their peril. Anyway, I got to take a break. I'm up against it on time. Sit tight, folks. Back after this. Don't go away. So when I say overestimating the conservative base, what I mean, not by numbers. They're not overestimating the numbers of conservative. They're overestimating what they think of as conservatism. They think of conservative, the GOP moderates, the establishment, look at conservatives and see a bunch of strident, single-issue, inflexible people. And that's not who the Republican base is. That's not who conservatives are. They are much more broad-based. So when I say overestimating, I mean overemphasizing probably would be a better word. They don't understand them. I don't care what word you use. The Republican base is not understood by its own party because of a built-in prejudice and bias against it. I'm not aware I said this about National Review, by the way. I'm saying it, I've long said it about the Republican establishment. But I think when it comes down to who is and who isn't a conservative, I think even the experts in the business don't know, because of whatever prejudice they have against certain conservative policies or issues, whatever bias they've got, they don't take the time to understand really how broad the spectrum is of conservatism It's much more than just the social issues. It's much more than just pro-life versus pro-choice. It's much more than small government and low taxes. And they use those characterizations to impugn, belittle, mock, and it goes far, far deeper. So maybe overestimate is a confusing word, but I'm not suggesting that they're overestimating the number. They're overestimating their definition, which is narrow and singular. And it's why they tend to join Democrats in thinking when it comes to who conservatives are. Anyway, back to the audio soundbites when we get back.